I think I'm live. I think I'm live. Let me go ahead and fix this thing right here. Boom. All right, I think I'm good. Where's my phone? All right, so give me a couple seconds. Going to make sure I'm good on my end. Let me go ahead and go on my own live stream. Make sure everything is great. Before we get into the topic of discussion, because it's going to be a powerful one. Let me see. All right, I think I'm good. Awesome. That's dope. Okay, first things first. Welcome in. Welcome in. Make sure you guys hit the like button on the way in. Today is going to be an absolute banger of a live stream. All right. It's going to be more of a talking head live stream. I really want to get interactive with you guys, but at the same time, I have a message, a real message that I want to share with you guys because I think this is going to be extremely powerful, right? Not only for myself, of course, because one thing about teaching and talking, whenever I'm able to organize my thoughts this way, then it helps me out. So not only is it going to help me out, it's also going to help you out because it's going to bring a lot of clarity, all right? Usually most guys who email me, what's up, Saza? What's up, bro? Usually the people who email me, they're always looking for some type of clarity. They're either lost, they need direction, or they need some type of motivation, right? And whenever I take a deep dive into their life, I realize everything is scrambled. Everything is messed up. So they don't know what it is that they want. They don't know why they wake up in the morning. They don't know all these different things. And so, of course, they're going to be very lost when it comes to their life and the purpose and the things that they're supposed to be doing every day. It's simply because they don't know. And so usually what happens is because of the way that society is set up, they're not going to let you just sit on your hands. You can't do that in society. They're not going to let you just sit here and be bored and not do anything. No. When a person is purposeless, that means they're going to give you purpose. And when other people are giving you purpose, 9 times out of 10, now of course there's those rare occasions where it works out, but 9 times out of 10, you're going to end up in a horrible situation simply because the purpose that was given to you was meant for the other person to succeed and not for you to succeed. You understand what I'm saying? Because how can a person give you purpose if they don't even know what you want, if they don't know your goals? This is why a lot of guys, usually younger guys, but I've had some older guys too, where they're stuck in a loop, and it's a depressive loop. They go to work, they hate their job. They go to their girlfriend or lack of a girlfriend, and they hate them too, or they don't like themselves, right? They're in love with their hand. You understand? There are people who let themselves go. There are people, all types of things. They have no money. And the reason why they're in this situation, why they feel like the world is caving in on them, is simply because they refuse to not take their life seriously. That's really what it is. And hear me when I say this, because when I say take your life seriously, a lot of people think that I mean other people's metrics of success. You understand? Right? So if I said that you had a really fast car, let's say it's a Ferrari, right? Or whatever dream car you want. If I said that you had a really big house, if I said that you were making tons of money, if I said you could get any type of girl that you want in the world, right? The outside world would look at that as success. Now, some of you, that may be success to you, right? But if you have more experience, you realize that a lot of the things that you thought you wanted were really things that people told you that you wanted. And in chasing that, when you finally get it, however long it takes, you realize that you're like, that's it. Like, I thought I would be happier. I thought I would be more fulfilled. And that's not the case at all. You understand what I'm saying? And so what I want to do is I really want to wake you guys up to the game and the reality that's going on here. That way, whenever you start to go into your own personal life, you're going to ask yourself a couple questions like, is this what I want to do? Are these the goals that I actually want to accomplish? Am I doing these things for me, or am I doing these things for other people? Because if you're doing things for other people, I know society has trained you to believe that as a man, you're a martyr and you're supposed to sacrifice for everybody else's benefit. But that's not true. Now, of course, if you're a father or a husband and in your heart of hearts you believe that I'm okay with sacrificing for my family and my children, yada, that's cool. That's what you want to do, right? But when people tell you that you have to do something and it's not something that you want to do, then that's how you end up in a bad place. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start this off with what sparked this whole talk for me today. Make sure if you're coming in, like the video. I appreciate that. Also appreciate the donation. If at any time that I'm spitting, you think that I'm on fire tonight, I'm cooking, let me know by Cash App or Super Chat, all right? And of course, say what's up to me in the chat. All right. So the thing that sparked off this whole conversation was I was talking to this older gentleman. And when I say older, he had to be at least in his 70s, maybe even older than that. And usually, if you guys know, if you ever talk to like older guys, usually they have a mouthful. They just love to talk, right? And again, I was the type of person, now it's starting to be, my patience is a little thinner now. But when I was younger, I was all for it because I held the belief, the value that respect your elders, right? So I've always been like, you know what? And plus, I love information. And so maybe there's some nuggets in whatever it is about to tell me, and I could improve my life that way, or it could help me. What's up, Brian Thomas? How you doing, man? Welcome to the chat. All right. So again, I was talking to him, and I was letting him speak. And the whole time, you know, he started off very cordial. We're like having a random conversation. But then and through the conversation, I implied that, hey, man, I want to ask you some questions. And, you can answer it. I want to give you this time to speak. And I usually tailor conversations with older folks that way because a lot of older folks, you guys experience this now as you get older. The more that you get older, the less connections that you have. Unless you're in a community where it's like, a highly driven community and the community, everybody talks to each other if you're in that type of country. But in the United States, it's not usually like that. And so when I give people that room to talk, and again, even though you guys see me yap all the time, I'm very quiet in real life. I'm a listener in real life. I ask great questions because I want to know what you're about so I could tailor things. Anyway. So I gave him that open floor, and he starts talking to me about his triumphs, right? Who he was back in the day. And as I was listening to him, as he was starting to tell me about these things, I could see the fire in his eyes, right? About him reminiscing about the times that he was going through something tragic and then he overcame and da-da-da-da-da, right? So it was a bunch of, I'd say a good 30 minutes, 45 minutes of just those type of stories. But as we were starting to get to the end, this is what killed me. As we started getting to the end, I realized that the fire was starting to go down. And I'm thinking like, what's kind of going on? Like, why is this fire going down? And I realized it's simply because all of his best years are behind him. They're no longer in front of him. And you can tell, and of course I could just be speculating here, but you can tell that there's something in the spirit, in the soul that says that I could have done more. You understand what I'm saying? I could have accomplished more based off of who I was in the past. And again, this could be all in my head, but again, it really lit a fire in me because I'm like, because again, I'm 29, and sometimes, when I passed the age of 25, I started realizing that I'm getting a little older, you know what I mean? But I'm recovering. The recovery time it takes me is a lot longer than usual, and I'm talking to guys in their 30s and the 40s. They said it's only going to get worse from there, right? And so I've had this mentality of like all my best years are behind me, but then I realized it's like, I'm not in my 70s, bro. And it's like the amount of life that I have ahead of me is so much that I have a lot to do, right? And so that led me down on this path. Of course, I broke out the journal and I'm writing down like my usually it's like a 6-month plan, a year plan, right? But this time, as I was starting to go through the journal and doing these things, I realized that I could be stretching the plans that I have. They're going to take a lot longer than 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. And so the old mentality that I had was I have to do this quick. I have to do this now, right? But now as I started to get older, I realized like, bro, chill, slow down. You have time. You have time to do these things. And so what I want you to do is I want you to make longer plans. And when I start making longer plans, I can feel this excitement going on inside of me, all right? And so before I dive into this plan, this is the thing that I really want to help you guys out with, okay? Back when I didn't know anything, right? As a person growing up, I was really missing a lot of information. There was a lot of information that I just didn't know. Lucky for me, I loved information. I loved knowledge. And so I would pull out sources from anywhere, books, libraries. There's a period in my life that all I did was get up in the morning, go to this college campus that I didn't even attend, go to the library and study a bunch of leadership books and things of that nature. It was a whole period in my life. To tell you the truth, that was the worst time in my life just because of everything that was going on. But now that I look back, I can appreciate that moment. However, the reason why I'm telling you this is that back then, that's when the internet was, people were just, data was being uploaded to the internet. So there wasn't much misinformation because there was no reason to be misinformed, right? There was because nobody was looking for the information. And so when I was looking for this information, I was getting all this information, right? Nowadays, people think it's funny to lie on the internet because they think it's a joke or something like that. And people will go as far as to create entire storylines of false things. It's actually ridiculous if you ask me. But when I was doing these things, I was taking this information. One of the things that would keep popping up, usually like in the conspiracy theory zone, and I was never a conspiracy theory nut. It was just I was just a type of person that would always receive information and kind of store it in the back of my mind, right? That way, in future information, I could be like, oh, okay, I see where that comes from. I can make connections. But back when this whole piece of information that I would get, they would always say something like the quote unquote elites wanted you slower, they wanted you dumber, and they wanted you distracted, right? And so I brushed it off my shoulder. I took it with a grain of salt. It was whatever. I was like, blah, 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 whatever, right? But it wasn't until actually right now, not even like this moment, but as I'm starting to refine this process that I've been working on my entire life, if I'm being completely honest with you guys, it wasn't until I started going through that process that I realized there are people who want you slower, dumber, and distracted. Now, are they the elites? Maybe, who knows? I couldn't tell you. But I've met people who are regular people who would also want the majority of people, or at least the majority of people that they're involved with, to be slower, dumber, and distracted. And I'm going to tell you why right now. What's up, Rare King? Knowledge is power. Got to start somewhere. Appreciate that. What's up, bro? Okay, so I'm going to tell you why is that. So the reason why these people want you slower, dumber, and distracted, and again, this could go from as high as the elites all the way down to the boss at your job. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm going to tell you why that is in a second. So the reason why they want you they want you distracted is simply because they want to control three things. Okay, they want to control your time, they want to control your attention, and they want to control your energy. Now, again, why would they want those things? Why would they want your time? Why would they want your attention? Why would they want your energy? And I can tell you why right now. The reason why they want your time, attention, and energy is because that is what's required that you have to invest in daily in order to get the things that you truly want out of this life. Okay. And when I say that, I'm not BSing here. Not only am I a teacher, practitioner, and student of this game, but I've also had successful clients who are also doing the same thing. I've watched a person go from absolute zero to having their own business and thriving in their own life in as little as 6 months. How did I do that? And it's simply because of the process that I've been refining my entire life. I'd say like 10, 11 plus years now. Okay. And the three main pillars of that is you have to invest time, you have to invest attention, and you have to invest energy. So here's the thing, right? If I can control your time, see, it's like, why would they want to control my time? If I can control your time, that means I can tell you exactly where to be, exactly when I need you, like a job. Now, let's get one thing straight. Let's be smart here, okay? I'm not saying don't have a job. I'm not saying don't make money. I'm not saying don't take care of your responsibilities. I hate that I have to say that on the internet, right? But it's true. There are some people who are just not the sharpest tool in the shed. Okay, so I'm not trying to demonize these things. But what I'm saying is a lot of people have jobs and they don't know why. I'm like, why do you have your job? Oh, it's because to pay bills. And I'm going to tell you why that's a mistake in a second. Again, I'm not saying don't pay your bills, all right? But listen, if I can control your time, that means I can control where you're going to be at. You understand what I'm saying? If I can control your attention, that means I can tell you what to think and what not to think, right? And if I have your energy, I can control what you do. Now, usually when you go to these jobs, they have just that. In fact, when you first started your job, they had you sign an agreement, and it was simply saying, hey, we're going to pay you $20 an hour, $30 an hour, $40 an hour, whatever, and we're going to need your time, we're going to need your attention, and we're going to need your energy, okay? And listen, like I said, that's just life. Sometimes you're going to have that job. But again, my thing was they had a reason why they needed you. My thing was, why did you need them? Because the average response that I get is people say, oh, well, I'm doing it to pay bills. And I'm like, here's how I want you to think about this, right? Because again, I'm not saying don't pay your bills. Let's not be dumb. But what I'm saying is, think about it like this. Every bill that you pay, listen, every bill that you pay, you are transferring money into somebody else's pocket. Somebody receives a notification that you just paid them money, okay? Now, again, please don't misunderstand me. Don't think I'm saying, oh, you have to stop paying bills. Oh, you have to stop contributing to capitalism and business. No, I'm not saying that. But what I want you to think about is I want you to say, if you're the type of person that says, I go to the job to pay my bills, what you're saying is, I'm going to work to make other people rich. Now, again, this isn't something like, oh, bro, you got to get rich, da-da-da. We all know that. But what I'm saying is, there has to be a reason why you're at the job. Why are you at the job? So let me give you a quick example of just something personal. If I wanted to go to work right now, like if I wanted to clock in and get a job, nothing wrong with it. But if you ask me why, it's like, bro, because I want to build an emergency fund. Or, bro, I want to invest in my stock account. Or, bro, I'm trying to save up for a house. Or, bro, I'm trying to, like, there's a reason. You feel what I'm saying? It's not so I can pay my bills. Because when you say pay my bills, you're saying put money in other people's pocket. So you get up every day just to put money in other people's pocket. That doesn't make sense. And then you wonder why you're sad and depressed at your job, because you have no purpose. You understand what I'm saying? And so when you're in this game, the time, attention, energy game, when you're in this game of trying to make whatever it is that you want a reality, the question that you always should be asking yourself is, why am I doing this? And if the answer to that is not attached to something that you genuinely want in your life, you're going the wrong way. And for the longest time, back when I was younger, I was so depressed at my job. Listen, maybe some of you guys had this same thing going on in your life, right? Where you'd get a job and the job was cool at first, right? You go there, you're making your money, you're making some friends, co-workers and stuff. You have managers there, it's a job. We've all had those type of jobs. But then you get to this point where it's like, it's so depressing, like it's soul crushing. And you're like, God, I hate being here. You wake up in the morning, you're like, I gotta go I hate being here, right? Now, there are some of you out there, I met a lot of you guys where you're like, you'll stick through it. You'll be there for years. You understand what I'm saying? And listen, power to you. I could never. So me personally, I said, I quit the job, right? Because I'm thinking it's the job. I'm like, okay, it's just a job. I got to change, careers, or I got to change a different job or whatever. So then I would get a different job. I would quit the job and then go to a different job. And then guess what? When I get the other job, everything's great. I'm like, okay, great. Everything's great. I'm talking to the man, I'm making friends, the coworkers, da da da. But again, eventually over time, it would go right back to that soul crushing place where I feel like I'm just trading my life away for BS. And I couldn't figure out for the life of me, why is this happening? And it wasn't until I started discovering the things that I'm talking to you guys about today. It was simply because I woke up and was doing things purposeless. I wasn't going to the job to save money. I wasn't going to the job to buy real estate. I wasn't going to the job to invest in stocks. I wasn't going to the job to invest in a certification. I wasn't going to the job to make sure my family was good. I was just going to the job because people told me when you were 16, 17, 18 that you had to get a job. People told me that. People told me when you had to do that, you had to move out on your own. You had to pay bills, right? How many of you guys heard that? When you hit 18, you got to move out your parents' house, okay? When you move out your parents' house, da-da-da-da-da, right? So I'm listening to society. You know why? Because I didn't have a strong foundation within myself. I didn't have a relationship with myself. And so what that did was that put me on the hamster wheel of getting up, sacrificing my time, attention, and energy, my life, my soul to get money to then make other people rich. Because again, when you're making money, you're tired, right? And of course, the recovery process, a lot of us don't have healthy vices when it comes to recovery, healthy habits when it comes to recovery. So we may go smoke, or you may go drink something, or you may go buy food, bad food, fast food, restaurant food. You may do all these things. And again, like I said, paying bills is literally making somebody else money. Now, again, there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want to do. But when I talk to the average person, that's not what they want. That's not what they want. And so I sit them down, I say, yo, bro, like, well, what do you want? And then when they tell me what they want, it's something completely different than what they're doing right now. And I'm like, bro, why aren't you dedicating your life to doing things that you want to do? And most times it's because, one, they're afraid. Again, because when you look around, you can't have these conversations at work, bro. I've tried. And I know a lot of you, if you think like me, you've tried too, where you try to have these conversations like, something's going on here. Something not right here. But then you talk to other people and other people feed you such garbage, like NPCs, bro. Like, it's like, oh no, bro, like this is what you're supposed to do. You have to do this. You have to make sure you get a job, bro. What if you become homeless, bro? What if you do this? What if this happens? What if they're so rooted in fear? And what I realized when I was going through my journey of breaking myself and rebuilding myself is anything that you do based off of fear is always wrong. Why? Because the foundation is fear. What is fear? Now, of course, I got to go cheesy with the acronym here, but it's false evidence appearing real. And so you're living your life based off of false evidence appearing real. It's not rooted in reality. It's rooted in fiction. It's rooted in the mental that's not even a reality. You understand? So of course, if you build a house with zero foundation, the house is going to be weak every time. Because again, the foundation of the actions that you're taking are rooted in nothing. You understand what I'm saying? So, okay, MD, I get it. You told me that, right now I'm using my time, attention, my energy. It's being hijacked by other people. Whether it's being hijacked by social media, it's being hijacked by my job, it's being hijacked by my family, my friends, my wife or girlfriend, whatever. It's being hijacked, okay? Well, how do I take it back? I'm glad that you asked, because that's what we're going to be talking about, all right? So right now, I really want you to understand this. Right now, this is a game. Now, again, I know that, usually we're heavily invested emotionally into this, and this is real life. Like, homelessness is real. Like, it's not fun. I've been there before. Living in my car is not fun. But again, this is a game, and a lot of people will play this game and will make certain moves and not care about who it gets affected by. They don't care. Because again, it's not their job to care. You understand what I'm saying? Even if they're in a position to care, they still don't care. This is why you have like business professionals or people who are making hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars, and they still want to get into the game of business. I will never forget this, right? I've heard this story twice. I'm only going to tell you one so you can get the gist of it. It was simply, there was a business called diapers.com. I want you guys, you can look this story up, right? It was a business called diapers.com. And it was essentially back when back when getting things to your doorstep was unheard of, right? As far as like just packages. And so what diapers.com did is they took, of course, diapers and then other baby goods and things like that, and they would ship these things to mothers' doors. Why? Because mothers are busy, blah blah blah. And so that took off because it was the first of its kind. So it took off. It's doing numbers. So what Amazon does, everybody knows Amazon, right? For my foreigners who doesn't know Amazon, giant company, basically a marketplace, right? What Amazon does, Amazon sees that the diapers.com is taking a huge market share of the baby and home goods. So what do? What they do is they start I don't know if they started their own manufacturing, but basically they entered the diaper business. And guess what they did? They were selling diapers at a cut cost, meaning that they were losing money every single time they made a sale on diapers. Now, what does that mean? That means the diapers are going to be cheaper than diapers.com. And so again, what are you going to do as a consumer? Like I said, as consumers, we vote with our dollars, and boy, do we not care. We do not care, okay? Most of us don't care. We're going for the cheaper option. You understand what I'm saying? And so, of course, they were losing a lot of money. Now, again, like I said, Amazon was losing money based off this decision, but it didn't matter. You know why? Because it's Amazon. Amazon is printing money. But again, as soon as they just had to hold off long enough for diapers.com to go out of business. And I believe they acquired them. I don't know if they acquired them or diapers.com went out of business. Either way, they ran out of business. And this is how these people think. You're like, bro, you're making hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars. Why are you crushing this mom and pop shop? You understand what I'm saying? Because again, this is a game to them. Even though diapers.com, that's how that person was feeding their family, sending their family to college, buying generational wealth. They didn't care. They didn't care. And then people like to use this excuse of, oh, it's just business. Oh, it's not personal. It's just business. It's not personal that I took your livelihood away. And the reason why your kids can go to a great college, it's not personal though. I can never understand that. That's very personal. You understand what I'm saying? Because there's enough room for the both of us. And the fact that you had to underprice yourself to crush me. You understand? So again, the whole reason why I told you that story is because I want you to realize that this is a game to people. And so even though you're suffering and you're going through all these things, to other people, this is a game. And so the whole message that I'm trying to tell you is you have to start playing this game for yourself. And the beautiful thing that I'm in this game is it gets better with time. You understand what I'm saying? This is why I felt, if you guys were here in the beginning, this is why I felt bad for the old guy who was reminiscing, because his time is up. You understand? I think the average life expectancy is 76 in the US. A lot of us are past our 30s. I'm 29. A lot of us are past your 30s. That means you're at the 50% mark. You understand what I'm saying? I don't think a lot of us conceptualize this. It's like you're at that point. You understand? And so if this is a game that is only getting better with time, you have to make sure that you're putting yourself in positions always to make sure that you're living the life that you want to live. You understand what I'm saying? And so at first, what you have to do that is you have to get very clear on exactly what it is that you want. Now, usually when I ask guys this, I'm like, what do you want? They're like, I don't know. They have no idea. And I'm like, bro, just like, what do you like? What do you like? I had a consultation with a 19-year-old the other day, right? And I'm not going to say his name, but I'm going to put a little bit of his business out there. I mean, you guys don't know who he is, so it's okay. Essentially what he said, he's like, at first he said, bro, I don't know what I want. Like, that's usually the answer I get. And I'm like, bro, like, listen, if you had all the time in the world, if you had all the money in the world, if you had everything, like, what would you be doing? And he's like, bro, what I actually like, what I think about is, I just want to live in like a cabin in the woods in the middle of nowhere. And I'm like, bro, like, even at 19, you can make that happen. Now, again, you have to be very realistic, okay? Because you can't go from, most of us can't go from the situation that you're in to just living in the cabins in the wood and be great, right? That's not how that works. But what I say is like, bro, now you have a reason to go to work. Now you have a reason. Why? Because you're saving money so you can experience what it's going to look like to live in a cabin in the woods by yourself. And those moments are extremely important, especially when it comes to the things that you want. Because I've had plenty of times this things happen to me where I'm like, oh man, I want this. And then I grind for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. And I finally get it, right? And I'm in the moment and I'm like, this is some bullshit. Like, I don't want this, right? I take this back to the first time that I traveled and I went to Mexico, right? I knew I wanted to travel. I was like, bro, I want to travel. I want to go around the world. I want to be with the locals and doing all this other stuff. So I'm doing my research and, I'm listening to these influencers back in the day and these people. And they're like, oh, if you want the real authentic experience, you got to go with the locals. So I'm planning my Mexico trip and I'm like, bro, stay in this nice resort, all inclusive. I'm like, nah, bro, that's not the Mexican experience. I'm trying to go stay with the locals. So I'm staying in this small studio apartment. I'll never forget this small studio apartment, right? And I turn on the shower. Now, luckily, at this time I was in my personal development phase, my raw, go get it, taking cold showers, all that, right? So I remember I was in this Airbnb in Mexico, and Mexico was great, at least when I first got there, very hot. But I turn on the shower, And I take my hand. You guys know, you turn on the shower and you put your hand in. You're trying to test the temperature of the water, And so you're doing the temperature. And I remember it went from really cold to like really warm to really hot. And I'm like, here we go. Because, you get really hot and then you turn it back some to get that perfect temperature. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? So I'm doing that. I put my hand in and it goes cold, warm, really hot. And I'm like, okay. And just before I took my hand out to like fix the temperature, it went back to warm and then went back to cold, freezing cold. And I'm like, Now, again, this is the span of like 5 seconds. So I'm like, maybe, that was just like the old hot water. I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, the old hot water, and it's like heating up. You know what I mean? So I'm sitting here like looking like a DA, which stands for dumbass. I'm sitting here looking like a DA, putting my hand into the water, waiting for this thing to go warm, hot. Yep, look, spoiler alert, it never went back hot. You understand? So again, I'm sitting here taking a freezing cold shower. Now again, at the time, I was in my personal development era, so I was good. But still, I went through that experience, and I'm like, man, this sucks. Like this, like traveling was cool, but this sucks. And then I went to a different part of Mexico, stayed in a different Airbnb, and I used the towels that they had, and I swear to God, bro, it's like that towel was made out of sandpaper. I've never felt the towel that hard in my life. It was scraping skin off, bro. I'm telling you, I'm telling the truth, right? So I'm sitting here rubbing, and I'm like, oh my God, like I couldn't even dry myself because it was so scratchy. You feel what I'm saying? And it was in that moment, after my 30 days in Mexico, I told myself one thing. I said, whenever I travel, I'm not staying with poor locals. I'm not doing it. Listen, if you guys want to do that, or the influence want to do that, people who convince me to do that stupid shit, if they want to do that, that's great. Let them have it. Me, it had minimum middle class, or rich. Ideally, even listen, if the funds were great, wealthy, you understand what I'm saying? But I realize it's like I want the option. I don't want the joke I used to say was I'm not traveling to be poor in a different country. I can go home and do that. You know what I'm saying? I can go home and do that. So I told myself, I was like, listen, bro, like this is the new standard that I set for myself. And so again, I wanted to stay. And again, the journey that I had was I want to stay with the locals. I want to do this and travel and vlog and do all this other stuff. Bro, I learned that day I don't want to do any of that shit, bro. The only thing that I got the gem out of that was I really want to travel. And so again, when you're writing things down, and not even writing things down, when you're thinking about the things that you want, it's very important that you get very clear and then you chase that thing till you get it and then you can revise. You understand what I'm saying? This is the real game that's being played. It's essentially getting what you want, realizing what the reality of that is, and then saying, do I really want this, or do I want something like this but a little different? And then boom, you make that correction. This is why I tell you guys that you need a journal. If you don't have a journal, you're not in the game. If you don't have a journal, you're not in the game. If you don't have a journal, you're not in the game. If you do not have a journal, you're not in the game. Why do you need a journal? Because paper will always remember, but the mind will forget. You understand what I'm saying? You guys ever go to the store and you're getting groceries and you're like, do I have everything? You're like, okay, yeah, I got everything. Then you get home or you're on the way home. And it's always past the point to where you're not going to turn around. You know what I mean? You're at that point. And then you're like, fuck, because you forgot something. You know what I'm saying? And again, your mind forgot that. But if you wrote that down, you would have not forgotten it. You understand what I'm saying? And this is the same thing about the life that you're trying to live. And again, and this is another example that I like to use. Rare King says middle class or upper class is always the way. 100%, bro. You get treated differently. You get the amenities, the whole nine. But here's the thing that I tell you guys, or the things that I always say, usually on phone calls with consultations or people who are inquiring about my services. And I'm trying to stress the importance of a journal, okay? Humor me real quick. I want you guys to do this math problem in your head, okay? It's going to be simple, all right? What's 5 plus 5, right? What's 5 plus 5? Now, obviously, it doesn't take a genius, like 10. Easy. In the mental. Super. You don't even need a pen and paper for that. Okay, great. So what's 24,617 plus 36,496? What is that? Right? A lot harder, isn't it? You understand what I'm saying? You're going to need what? Something to write it down so you can figure out the answer. So if it's something as basic and simple as a math problem you need to write down, bro, you're trying to organize your entire life in your mind. You see how slow that sounds? You see how dumb that sounds? This is why it's very important that you're writing these things down. Because when you're writing these things down, it's like, okay, you'll forget it. And you go to sleep and wake up, you'll forget. But if you open up that journal, you'll remember exactly why you're waking up in the first place. And the reason why this is extremely important, the reason why you have to be extremely clear on what it is that you want is simply because that's going to be the reason for your existence. One of the main things that a lot of guys would call me for or email me about or comment about was like, bro, I have no direction. I have no clarity. I have no purpose. How many of you guys have said that before? Like, oh, I have no purpose. I don't know what my purpose is. And the reason why a lot of people don't have purpose is because you've been listening to the marketing that is TV or other people when they say that, bro, one day you're just going to be doing the right things and then your purpose is going to manifest and you're going to say, this is exactly what I want to do. And then you're going to live happily ever after doing your purpose. You're going to get rich, yada, yada, right? That's what a lot of people think. They think that it's something they have to go out and search for. They think it's something that it's outside of them. The reality, let me tell you a secret, the reality is that purpose is inside. And so what you have, the reason why it's inside is because you're the person that gives you purpose. You're the person that gives you purpose. This is why I asked you, like, what is it that you want, and make sure that you write it down. Because once you write it down, you now have a goal. And then once you have that goal, all you have to do is reverse engineer it to figure out where you're at and what's separating you two between each other so you can wake up every day and go after that goal. You understand what I'm saying? Life gets a lot easier when you realize that you don't want 90% of the things that people tell you that you don't want. This is why it's like usually you see this in movies or TV shows, or maybe you feel this for yourself. It's usually an older guy fantasy, right? Where the older guy, here's a good example. What's that movie? Marvels with Thanos, right? Usually it's like the older guy thing where you do you had so much work and responsibility that all you want to do is just be left alone, maybe in a cabin, going fishing, like a very basic and simple, a very straight to the point life. You guys ever heard of things like that? Right, because that's what they wanted. And again, in that movie, Thanos, he could have snapped anything into existence. He could have given himself anything. What did he give himself? A nice little cabin in the middle of nowhere. After all the work, universal work, planets to planets, he could have thought about anything and lived the perfect life. What was his perfect life? A cabin in the woods in the middle of nowhere. That was it. You understand what I'm saying? And this is what I'm talking about. Because as men, we get so caught up in working for other people that we forget to work for the most important person, which is ourselves. You understand what I'm saying? So again, it starts off with you understanding exactly what it is that you want. Once you understand exactly what it is you want, my next question is, what do you have to do? What are the actions that you have to take on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis that's going to move you slightly closer to that goal? And just write that down. Most people will not take 30 minutes to 3 hours, depending on how complicated it is for you. They won't take the 30 minutes to 3 hours to just sit down, turn their phone on silent or do not disturb, get a notebook, and just sit down and figure this out. But again, like I said, this is the purpose for your life. You understand what I'm saying? So when you have the list of those actions, what's going to end up happening is now you have a routine. So many people are like, bro, what time do you wake up? And then people will actually answer that question like, oh, bro, you guys ever seen that? The millionaire routine? Oh, bro, I wake up at 3 a.m. Bro, he doesn't wake up at 3 a.m. because that's a millionaire routine. He wakes up at 3 a.m. because he's a stock trader, and a lot of the news that he gets are from people in different countries that are awake right now. You understand? You see how he has a purpose for waking up at 3? Meanwhile, and again, I fell victim to this too when I was younger. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here trying to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning looking like this. I'm like, and then I will go right to sleep, and then I'll beat myself up in the morning because I couldn't wake up on time, right? Because you had no purpose for waking up at that time. You understand what I'm saying? This is what, again, I'm going to drill this into your head. Whatever it is that you're doing, ask yourself, why? Why am I doing this? And again, when you start asking yourself a lot, you're going to realize a lot of the times the things that you're doing are for other people. They're not even for you. They're for other people. Now, again, nobody's saying that you can't do things for other people. Nobody's saying that. But what I am saying is, do you want to do that for other people? And when you're very real with yourself, you're like, no, I don't. I don't want to do that for other people. And here's the second thing. Whenever you start to have your goals and you're starting to get good at it, you're going to have a full schedule, a real schedule. And you learn this when you're trying, like, when you're single and you're dating and you're trying to appear higher value. Guys will be like, oh, bro, don't text her back because you're busy. Bro, that's so lame. It's like, I get it. But it's lame because you're faking. You understand what I'm saying? And when you're faking, that means you're playing games. Meanwhile, if you had your goals written out, if you had your purpose, you're really busy. You understand what I'm saying? You're really busy. And so you have things to do. And so your value, quote unquote, shoots up because it's real. You understand? And so this is what you learn. When you start to write these things down and you start to come up with your routine, you're going to realize that you can't do everything. You understand? Now, of course, you could shorten your goals, but most times you can't do everything. So what does that mean? That means that the people who have your time, attention, and energy, one of those has to go. You understand? One of those has to go. Either your dreams, goals, aspirations, or the people who want your dreams, goals, or the people who want your time, attention, and energy. Now, like I said, this is not a live stream to where you're like, oh, bro, quit your job and go live in your car and do it. I'm not saying that, bro. Let's be honest. Let's be smart. What I am saying is, and again, I remember when I first started doing this, I remember the first time, bro, I was delivering pizzas, right? When I was practicing this. And I remember when I first got the job, I had it routine. I was like, okay, go to the job from this time to this time, right? And then once I get off, I could go to the gym, I could do all these other things, right? I get there at the interview. I wanted to make it very clear. So at the interview, she was like, oh, can you, so like, there's some days where you're going to have to stay over or maybe close. Is that okay? I was like, no. Right? And a lot of people have problems saying no. And the reason why they have problems saying no is because there's no reason for the no. You understand what I'm saying? So you're saying no because you just don't want to do it, but you don't want to appear like a lazy ass. You know what I'm saying? So you're just like, oh, I can, sometimes. But me, I walked in there confidence. It's like, no. And there was no because I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. But it wasn't a no because of some BS reason. It was a no because my schedule didn't allow it. I had things to do after that. You understand? And so she's like, oh, okay, boom. But guess what? Because human nature, how people are, when I got the job, everything was going great. I was leaving at the exact time. But then they're like, oh, you guys know if you ever had these type of jobs. Oh, somebody called off, or, somebody did this, or we just need you to stay over. And I said, no. And again, it wasn't because I was trying to be a hard ass, or it wasn't because I was being ungrateful for the job or anything. It was simply because I had, like, if I said yes, what I'm saying is I'm giving you my time, attention, and energy, and I'm taking it away from my future self to make to make myself get closer to exactly the life that I want to live. I don't listen, let's be honest. This is a business, okay? This is a business. I'm not here to make sure your business thrives outside of what I agree to. You understand what I'm saying? The same reason why if the job stopped paying you tomorrow, they say, hey guys, you guys are now working for free. We're not paying you no more. You wouldn't show up the next day. You don't care how close you are to them people. You understand what I'm saying? You're not showing up because, again, the exchange is gone. And so I wanted to make sure at the beginning that, like, listen, I don't have any extra time. This is what it is. It's this time to this time and I got to go. But guess what? They try you. And again, you guys notice, if you ever had BS jobs or maybe the job you're at now, they always try you. They're always trying to, like, poke and see, like, where the chinks in the armor. And so again, and I know how this works, right? This works because wisdom will tell you, you give people an inch, they'll take a mile. You understand? So if you stay over one time, you're like, it's okay. Yeah, I'll close this one time because I'm not doing anything else anyway. That's most people. And that's usually how I used to be as well. It was like, I'm not doing anything. I'll close. Guess what happens? Now on the schedule, you're a closer. Next time, closing. Next time. And again, they don't do it all at once. You're like, once or twice, okay. It goes from 0 to 1 time a week. And you're like, that's fine. They don't tell you. They don't ask you. They just do it because you sat there and went through it. And then guess what? 2 times a week. 3 times a week. Now you're a closer. And now you can't be like, hey guys, I don't want to close anymore, right? Without some real problems. But so I wanted to make sure that didn't happen at all. Zero, zilch. Why? Because I had my dreams, goals, and aspirations to work on after that, right? And I remember it's like when people are trying you, and again, this is a part of the masculine development journey. When people are trying you, you have to make sure you're standing 10 toes. You have to make sure that you're being firm. You have to make sure that you're being confident in yourself, assertive with yourself, because it's not just you you're protecting your dreams, goals, aspirations, and the people who get to benefit off of being around you or a close person in your life when you're living that lifestyle. And so I remember one day they were like, hey man, we need you to close. I'm like, I can't do it. Like, I'm sorry. I have something else to do after this. And then they're like, oh, okay. And then later they're like, bro, like, come on now. We really need you to close. I'm like, no, bro, like, I got to go. Right. And at the end, if you ever did delivery jobs, at the end, they have something called a tip out, right? Which they give you all your tips. Somebody has to, count your money, make sure everything is good, everything. But they tried to take that hostage. They're like, oh, bro, I'm like, hey guys, I got to get tipped out because, the time was going. And they're like, hey guys, like, man, we're super busy right now. It's like, I'll get you in a second. I'm like, okay, I'm lenient on that. I say, okay, because it was still 15 minutes till, I'm good. So I'll go out, I do my thing. It's getting to that time. I say, hey guys, like, I need to get tipped out, blah, blah, blah. They're like, yeah, man, we're super busy. We'll get you in the da-da-da. Then it went to the final point of like the time I was supposed to go. I'm like, hey, I got to go now. Like, I got to do this now. And then somebody tried to butt in and be like, hey man, you can wait like a little bit, da-da-da-da-da. And I remember this, I didn't scream. But you guys can hear my voice. Like, it's got some little bass in it. And so I'm like, no, I need to go now. Like, there's not enough 10, 15 minutes. I need to go now. And then again, as much as I hate this, right, in a moment, I love talking about it. Because when you do that, when you put your foot down, when you're firm, now everybody wants to be like, whoa, where did that come from? Oh, bro, you don't have to get upset. Like, come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't even like that. It was the fact that you're trying me 3 or 4 times. And then I'm like, yo, like, bro, it's cool. And then I was lenient. Like, yo, bro, but the moment you put that foot down, you're like, yo, I got to go now. Like, it's now, bro. And again, and when they say I'm serious, guess what happened? Boom, it changed. They tipped me out. But then again, when I showed up to work the next day, everybody was like, oh, they're like, oh, bro, we don't have to get upset. Like, bro, get the fuck out of here, bro. And again, that's what you're going to have to go through. Because like I was telling people, it's like sometimes you'll happen this when you first start realizing that a lot of people have your time, attention, and energy that don't deserve it. And again, they don't deserve it because they don't treat you right in exchange. There's no reciprocity. You understand? I used to have a friend and we were hanging out, right? And this girl called them and he immediately picked up the phone and then she's like crying and like trauma dumping on this dude, right? And I'm sitting here, he's like, hold on, man, I'm sorry. And again, we were talking, we were having a moment, we was busy. You know what I'm saying? We were working on a project together. And he's like, and she's like, oh, I can't believe. And he's like cheering her up. He's not even really saying anything. He's just on the receiving end of trauma dump. And then he hangs up the phone, and I'm like, bro, like, what was that? He's, she's just crying because her ex-boyfriend, or her boyfriend, her going through something they were trying. And I'm like, oh, that's like a family member or something? He's like, no. I'm like, oh, that's like a close friend or something? He's like, not really. I'm like, bro, why does all the people in her phone, right? Why can she call you, take 20 minutes of your time and trauma dump on you? That don't make zero sense to you? Because, and again, usually I let these things go, but of course, if you're my friend, bro, I stick up for you, right or wrong, right? And I'm like, bro, like, you don't think that's weird? And I use the line that I love. I'm like, bro, like, therapists get paid $60,000 to $70,000 a year starting to get trauma dumped on by other people. And you're just giving that away for free. You understand? That wasn't his girl. That wasn't somebody he was attracted to. It was just some like acquaintance. And I'm like, bro, nobody should have that amount of time to be able to do that for you, to do that to you. 1. 2, she didn't even ask permission. Like, hey, I really need somebody right now. Do you have time to? There was none of that. I understand. And again, like I said, now I'm not saying this is bad. I'm saying is it what you want? You feel what I'm saying? And again, it wasn't because, bro, like I said, we were busy. So now he's making away from my time and his time. He didn't ask me like, bro, can you mind if I like, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. He didn't do none of that. She didn't ask either. Just straight trauma dump. And like, bro, if you ever been on the receiving end of trauma dump, bro, you don't walk out the same. You can have a really great day. If somebody trauma dumps you, your happiness level is going to go down a couple points. You understand what I'm saying? You may not feel it in a moment, but it goes down a couple points. Why? Because you exchanged energy with the person, right? We're exchanging energy right now. You guys see what I'm saying? Like, when I talk to you, this is energy. You guys are feeling me. I'm feeling you. You feel what I'm saying? But again, so imagine if it was just me trauma dumping. Y'all would leave. You're like, what the fuck? Like, I ain't doing this, man. What the fuck he got going on? Guys, my life is so bad. You know, I was just doing it. Y'all were like, oh, okay, I have better things to do with my time, my attention. You feel what I'm saying? And so again, when you're on this game, you have to be very particular and say, okay, this person gets this person gets this person gets this. If I want to give a job 8, 10, 12 hours, it's because of this reason that I have. You feel me? And again, there's a lot of guys, you have to go through the masculine journey of cutting people off. Now again, you may not cut them, you may not cut them off, but you'll cut that a little bit of their time. That's how it starts, right? Until you realize that this person is getting in the way of my dreams, goals, and aspirations. I got to get rid of them. Now, I'm going to take a quick pause. First things first, like the video if you haven't liked the video. Listen, if I'm spitting tonight, bro, support your boy, right? Cashapp or send me a donation, right? Or a super chat, they call it on YouTube, right? I really appreciate that. I want to give you guys more talks like this because I love this type of energy of going from nothing to something, right? Or going from something to something better. You feel me? So yeah, support your boy. I really appreciate that. A couple dollars goes a long way, all right? I'm very grateful. All right, so again, so the last point that I'm saying, I'm reading here from like little points here. The last one that I said was play the game for yourself because it only gets better with time. Guys, listen to me right now. Right? I don't really like to talk about my personal life like that. Not anymore, right? But right now, you guys can't really see it. I'm not going to take you to the balcony. But right now, bro, I'm in a different country making content for you guys. And I'm not going to tell you about the little yeah in the other room here. But again, and that's why I have to get off here in a couple seconds. Not seconds, like a little time from now. But yeah, like, bro, the thing that I'm living in right now is exactly the goals that I've written down in the past that I've worked very hard to get to be at this point. And let me tell you, I think I've been here for almost 2 months now. The past 2 months, bro, have been, I don't want to say some of the happiest, but it's been some of the most steady growth that I've had in my life in a long time. Like, bro, I don't want to, okay, I'll tell you a little bit, right? The routine is bro, I wake up every day, I'm like, bro, let's go to the gym. Easy. The country that I'm in, the government has, they invest in the public's health, and so there's public gyms, right? Where like they don't cost money, they're free. And they're like right next to where I live. So boom, I get up, I go run, right? I'm doing high bid training right now. Go run, I do my workout, I come back. Food is getting prepared for me. I take my clothes up, getting washed for me. You understand? I'm staying in a nice spot, nice pad. I'm having, bro, I can't, bro, just believe me when I say this, and you can kind of see it in my eyes and my voice. I'm very happy right now. I'm very happy. You know why? None of this was an accident, bro. It was very intentional. Very intentional. Because that's exactly what I want. And right now I'm at the point where I'm like, the moment I get back to the States, bro. And again, I don't want to jinx it, but the way that because this happens every time when I'm in a different country, right? I'm like, when I get back, I'm going, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? But this time I'm like, the plan that I have in place, I'm like, the moment I get back, bro, this routine is going to crush. It's going to crush. You know what I'm saying? I'm already starting to practice it right now going live. I told you guys, bro, I want to start making videos a lot. I want to start going live with you guys 2-3 times. You know what I'm saying? I want to do the whole thing. You feel me? Because it's like I have a goal that I'm so excited about that I want to get up and work on. You understand? And again, I know it's going to take some time. And so I'm ready to go. I'm ready. And so this is the type of energy where I'm like, yo, like this is the thing that I want to give to the world, is their ability to take themselves from the BS reality that they're in into the reality that they want. And that's going to segue into the next section of what I'm trying to say. Tech Man, what's up? Peace. What's up, bro? That's the next thing I'm going to say. Everything is a reflection of what is going on inside of you. Everything in your life right now, take a good look around. Take a look at your bank account. Take your shirt off. Take a look at your body. Look at your relationships that you have. Look at the relationship that you have with Creator, your spirituality, your religion, whatever. Everything that's going on in your around you right now is a direct reflection of everything that's going on inside of you. Now, that's very hard to hear if you're in some BS. Bro, I was there. Trust me, I was there. But again, that's powerful because now you're in a position to say, I'm in some BS right now. Why am I in this BS? And you have to go internal to figure out why you're in this BS. I realized a long time ago that I was going through a bunch of nonsense, bro. A bunch of nonsense. I kept going broke. I kept going to all these other things. I couldn't pay for gas. I look at my account, -$5. I'm like, bro, why do I keep ending up in these situations? You know why I kept ending up in these situations? Because the story that I had for my life at the time was the underdog story. You guys know the underdog story? Because again, I think everybody loves a good underdog story, a good Rocky story, right? Everybody, not even everybody, a lot of people love a good underdog story, and I'm one of them. I love seeing a person lose everything, and like they're in that spot, and they're like, "Oh, this sucks," and then they get this jolt of energy, this jolt of rush, and then they're on a routine, and they're crushing it, and then boom, they're fighting, or they get the championship, they get the girl, they get the money, rah rah rah. I realized, bro, I was in that story. Here's the difference, though, between the movie and real life. In real life, those opportunities that you come and you work really hard to get out of, that's extremely hard to sustain for the average person. You understand what I'm saying? And so if you're in that story, there's levels in the story that you can't pass. And again, for that time in my life, I couldn't pass the get up and go after it every single day and hold that long enough. Because again, in the montages in the movie, it's like 5 minutes, right? But in real life, that's like 2 years. You understand what I'm saying? And the average person can't sustain that. And so I kept going up, boom, down again, up, boom, down again, up, boom, down again. I'm like, why am I keep doing it? It's because of the story that I kept constantly telling myself. And again, who are you usually trying to be in an underdog story? You're trying to be the underdog. You understand what I'm saying? And so that's exactly who I would become. And it wasn't until I broke out that journal and I started writing out new stories for myself that I started becoming a different character in those stories by adopting those habits that the character would display. And then guess what? I would get the results. Guys, I'm not going to tell you my whole story. Just understand something. International traveler. You understand what I'm saying? International businessman. You understand what I'm saying? Listen, bro, listen. It can be as good as you want it to be. It can be as bad as you want it to be. But my question to you is, what is the story that you are constantly telling yourself that you're living in? And now, again, you may not be telling yourself the story. You may not even know what story you're in. But all you have to do is look around what's going on around you. Right? Do you have a girlfriend? First of all, do you want a girlfriend? Or do you want a friends with benefits? Or do you want a wife? And if you say, yeah, I do, why don't you have one? What's the story that you're telling? This is why the red pill is super dangerous. Because I talk to guys, and again, because I help guys with this. If you need help with this, send me an email. I'll send you a consultation link. You'll pay the fee and we'll get to it, right? But again, I'll ask guys, I'm like, what do you want? I'm like, do you want a girlfriend or friends with benefits? They're like, you don't want a girlfriend. I'm like, why don't you have a girlfriend? They're like, oh, bro, United States, these girls, bro. These girls and they'll throw me red pill talking points. And I'm like, bro, if you're constantly telling yourself that story about girls, that's all the girls that you're going to run into. Your brain is an energy processing machine. This is why I tell you to write things down, because your brain's processing it. So when your brain processes like, oh, girls are no good, they're liars, they're cheaters, they're scammers, they only want guys who are tall, your brain is like, okay. And it's like, where are those girls at? Where are those girls at? Okay, boom. And then you're like, man, let me try this cold approach thing. You go up to a girl, she's like, ew, I only want guys who are 6'3". And you're like, man, I knew it. This red pill was right. Now you're in people's comment sections like, girls are hoes. And I'm like, yeah, because you created the story for yourself. Then when it gave you a chance to realize it and you took it and now you realize the story. I'm like, bro, listen, there's nothing wrong with wisdom as a man. So where you're like, okay, I understand what women are capable of. You understand what I'm saying? I understand what they're capable of. But that's not the type of women I attract. You see how that changed? I understand what they're capable of, but that's not the type of women that I attract. Now, am I saying you'll never attract them women? No. But again, The process of refining and choosing, they get a lot easier. Because again, most guys can tell me all the bad things about the red pill talking point, right? Where they're like, oh, girls are this, girls are that, girls are that. I'm like, bro, what are some positive traits about women? What are some positive traits about women that you look for in a woman? What do you want? Most guys can't tell me that. I'm like, yeah, so now you're not even looking for the girl that you want. You see how crazy that is? And then it's like, oh, I could tell you. I'm like, okay, do you have it written down? And they're like, no. I'm like, yeah, you see that? You see what I'm talking about? Again, it's the math problem, bro. You think that you can do these things in your head. You can't. It's your entire life, bro. You can't do this in your head. Get a journal. I call it the Dream Girl Profile. You guys know. If you're a veteran of the game, listening to me, you know. But those who are new, the Dream Girl Profile is very simple. Write down exactly what you want in a woman. The height, the hair color, the characteristics, what else? The values, the background she comes from as for parents, think what languages she speaks, all this other thing. All I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say this once, right? I'm gonna say this one time because I don't want to be too loud with this, right? All I'm gonna say is right now, it's right there in the book, right here, the person in the book. In the book. This is nothing is luck, bro. You're a man. Nothing is luck for you. You have to make it happen. Now, will lucky things happen? Of course. But will you luck your way into the life that you want? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, you have to tell what you want. Command it, bro. You understand what I'm saying? Command it. Write these things down. And I'm telling you, listen, the process may take you a month. It may take you 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 18 months, right? A lot of guys are, 18 months. Oh, that's a long time, man. I'm like, bro, you can get anything that you want and it's going to take 18 months and you're complaining versus not doing it at all and going through 18 months of BS just to get to the 18th mark and you're still going through BS. Come on, bro. When do we become adults? But that's my thing. Like, when do we become adults? When do we become grown men? When do we start realizing like, okay, like shit's going to take a little bit. You understand? Let's go. It's going to take 6 months. Might as well get in the best shape of my life. You know what I'm saying? Oh, it's going to take 6 months. Might as well start saving some money. You understand? When do we start looking at life like adults? When do we start looking at life like a grown man? That's my question. That's my question. When does that happen? When do we start taking things seriously? When do we start putting our foot down for our dreams, goals, and aspirations? When does that happen? Because right now, what I'm seeing, and again, it wasn't until I got into this coaching thing and everything that I realized what a lot of girls are talking about. Because the average guy has no clue. The average girl has no clue too. But the average guy has no clue. He has no clue. I'm like, bro, what do you want? I don't know. I'm like, you want a girlfriend? Yeah. I'm like, where are you going to lead her to? I don't know. I'm like, bro, why would she follow? What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? You understand what I'm saying? And it used to piss me off royally because these be the same guys that are complaining that girls don't know how to do feminine things. I'm like, you're not even doing masculine things. Masculine is point A to point B. Point A to point B. You don't have a point A or a point B. You understand? You're going in circles. This is what women do. They go in circles. You understand? Men go from point A to point B. I'm here, I want to get here. I'm here, I want to get here. I'm here, I want to get here. Women are like, oh, I just want to go on this adventure. I'm just going with the flow. What does this look like? It looks like wind. Wind is going with the flow. I should never hear a man say, my bad. I should never hear a masculine man say, I'm just going with the flow. What the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? I'm just going with the flow. No, you're not, bro. What you're doing is you're going to flow into another man's plan that he has for you. You understand? Because trust me, plenty of men, myself included, have plenty of positions that people can work. If you don't want to do anything with your life, that's fine. Bro, let me tell you this. This shit pissed me off. Now, again, it pissed me off because I put myself in the person's shoes. This person could be extremely happy. Kudos to him. I watched this TikTok, bro. And it was a long time ago, but it stayed with me just because how much it boils me. It was a grown man. I'm talking, he had to be at least his mid-40s, bro. And he was working at Burger King. Now, again, I don't care how old you are working at Burger King. You want to work at Burger King, bro? Go work at Burger King. I don't care. You understand? But that man's been there, I want to say, for 20 years, bro. And then the person who owned the Burger King, or maybe a partner in the Burger King, because, franchises can be expensive, she's recording. She's like, oh, my gosh, he's been with us for over 20 years. And she's like, here's a surprise for you. They gave this man, bro, it boils me, bro. It boils me, right? It's a little funny, but it boils me for real. Because what they gave this man was one of them little goodie bags. You guys know them clear plastic goodie bags that like second graders get? You guys know what I'm talking about? It'll have like a pencil and some erasers in it. You guys know what I'm talking? They're a little clear. They'll have like a little a sparkly twist tie on it. You guys know what I'm talking about? They handed this man that. This man, they're like, show us what you got. I think that's what really boiled me, bro. Because like she's a grown woman giving this grown man this little goodie bag of, bro. He was like, oh, I got this night. I got this lanyard. You guys know a lanyard, bro. I could go to a convention, a job fair, and get 20 lanyards. You know what I'm saying? He got a lanyard. He got some candy, bro. Like a kid, bro. A kid got some candy, and what else? It was the rest was bullshit. There was nothing in that bag that you would have been like, you know, he could be grateful for that. No, bro. It was some bullshit. And I'm like, listen, he dedicated 20 years of his life to that Burger King franchise. The amount of money he's probably generated that Burger King just from showing up all those 20 years. That's not a gift. You know what's a gift? Equity. Equity is a gift. You couldn't give my boy a 0.1% equity. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't give my boy a $1,000 check. $1,000 still ain't shit, but you get what I'm saying. They got this man a little, bro. I swear to God that she was on her way home picking up her kid. Right? This isn't really happened, but I think this happened. She was on her way home picking up her kid, and somebody called her and said, hey, you know, Michael's been here 20 years. We got to give him something. And she's like, oh, and she's like looking around, and little Timmy in the background was like, hey, Mom, look at this goodie bag I got. And she's like, son, I'm going to have to borrow this from you. Don't worry, I'll buy it back. And then gave it to him. That's what it looked like, bro. This shit pisses me off every time I think about it, because it's like, that's what people have plans for you, bro. That's what they have planned for you. You want to BS. You don't want to write down your goals. You don't want to put your foot down for your dreams, goals, and aspirations. You're going to dedicate 20 years of your life to a franchise, and they're not going to give you shit. They're not going to give you nothing. You know what they're going to give you, bro? They're going to give you a little pack of Skittles. And you know what? Even this would have still pissed me off, right? But it was the fun size. You couldn't stretch the man for the king size. You know what I'm saying? Look, bro, you guys know the fun size, right? The little fun size pack of Skittles, the fun size pack of Strawbursts, the little 2 pieces, bro. You couldn't get my man at least the big piece? Come on, bro. Come on. That shit, bro, it pisses me off to this day. Because, like, this is what happens to people who don't take control of their life, bro. You're going to get used and abused. And they don't they don't care. They don't care. They don't care. You know why? Because it's a game to them. They're like, look at this moron. Thank you for, and at the end when he was done, they're like, we just want to say how much we appreciate you for showing up for these 20 years. That's not appreciation. That's nothing. That's nothing. Boils me, bro. And the reason why I hold that so close is because every time I don't feel like doing something, I think of that. I'm like, yeah, bro, go ahead. Go work for them folks. Go ahead, go work for them folks. Like I said, it's not about the job. Like I said at the beginning, if he really loves Burger King, that's his life. He gets paid enough money. Kudos to him, bro. I'm for any man getting the things that he wants. But I know that's not what he wants, bro. I know that's not what he wants. But he got that. That's what they give him after 20 years. That reminds, I'm gonna read this comment. I'm gonna tell you about my old story, my old boss. What are you hollering about? Remind me of the 7-Eleven worker who worked there for 50 years and his reward was a picture. The CEO sending a picture of himself thanking for this is what I'm talking about. It's like, bro, there's no way as a grown man that you're not laughing as you're like, what can I get this guy? Let me take me a quick selfie. Let me go ahead and autograph that for him. Put that in there. He mailed that off. Dead serious. And how much is the CEO of 7-Eleven, how much is he making? Be real. How much is the CEO of 7-Eleven making, bro? Is it more than 6 figures? Yes or no? Most of you guys are going to say yes. The man could have cut him a check for 10K. Be honest. Be honest. The man could have cut him a check for 10K. Easy. And it wouldn't have scratched nothing. It wouldn't have scratched nothing.
You know why I know when to scratch nothing? Because if you're a manager at a gas station, I don't know if this is all gas stations, but I know that the manager at most gas stations, at the end of the year, they get a bonus. The employees don't get a bonus. They don't get a bonus. No, the manager gets a bonus. And so I know the CEO is getting crazy bonuses. Bro couldn't write him a check 10K. Bro sent him a selfie and signed it. That's the biggest middle finger spit in the face that I've received in my life. 50 years, bro. This is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. And so for you, this again, I'm gonna start to wind it down here. This is what you have to be real about, bro. The question that I have for you is, one, what do you want out of life, right? And again, this doesn't have to be huge. This can be in the next 6 months, the next 3 months, the next year. Excuse me. But ask yourself, what is it that you want? What did you want? And then when you write that down, you now have a reason to do everything that you want to do. So again, if I go to work, if you guys ever see me with the 9 to 5, listen, I would never put down a 9 to 5 because it's a vehicle that's used to get you one step closer to exactly what it is that you want to do. But my question is, do you have that, or do you just show up so you can pay bills, which is essentially giving other people money? That's what you're doing. When you pay your phone bill, you're sending Verizon a check. When you pay your water bill, you're sending a person a check. You guys think somebody doesn't own the water company? You guys don't think that? You guys don't think somebody owns the electric company? These are private entities, meaning somebody gets a check every time you pay your electric bill. Now, of course, there are some places, it's state controlled, but again, most of the time, these are private, and you're paying these people. Insurance, you're paying somebody. That's somebody's business. You understand? And again, there's nothing wrong with this, right? But my question is, one, is that what you want to do? And two, do you have something to where people are paying you? The fact that you guys watch my videos, I get something for that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a billionaire off of it. But again, I get something for it because I provide something to the world. And so my question to you is, do you have that? What is the reason that you get up in the morning? That's my question. What is the reason that you get up in the morning? Why? Why do you get up in the morning? Why do you go to work? Why do you work out? Why do you go talk to girls? Why do you pray to your God? Why? I just want to know why. Can you tell me why? And the average person can't tell me why. And I'm like, you don't think that's a problem? If you don't think that's a problem, you're happy, congratulations to you. But what I'm saying is, if you think that's a problem, you're going to end up as the guy who worked there 20 years and received bullshit. And you're going to be the 7-Eleven worker who worked there for 50 years and got a selfie of a balding CEO. Come the fuck on, bro. That pisses me off. So shout out Sosa. Just found your channel. You speak real game. Appreciate that. Brian Thomas, super disrespectful fan. Exactly, bro. You're a grown man sending this to another grown man. That's so disrespectful. Bro could have paid off his car. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he could have did something. That's like, bro, like, that's real appreciation. You working for somewhere 10 years and like, hey, bro, listen, we know that your car, you've been leasing it for a while, or not leasing it, you've been paying that off. We went ahead and paid that for you. That's, you know what I'm saying? That's love. You're like, all right. And then again, that'll make me more loyal. But again, these people don't care. They're not giving you no money. Not really. They're not doing that. He was a low-level worker, maybe a manager. Tops, he makes $60K, and some dude in the comments said he clocks in 100 years. The CEO is going to send him a bottle of his That man's going to send you a thank you for his other yacht. That's what he's going to send you. Thank you for my other yacht. It's going to be him and a bunch of girls and his family popping bottles. We couldn't have did none of this without you. That's the type of shit he's sending him, bro. Disrespectful. That is so disrespectful. That's such a spit in the face, bro. Super disrespectful. The sad part was the workers seemed humble and happy. This is what I'm talking about, bro. Because they're not doing this to evil people, bro. They're doing this to real people with real lives, bro. People who you look at and you're like, he sounds cool. Would I trust him with $1 million? No. But he sounds cool. He seems humble. He seems happy. You know what I'm saying? And the first thing and the thing that they do is that he's been working how long? Let's give him some of these. Yeah, let's give him some of these. Yeah. Actually, take a picture of it. Send it to him. That's what they're doing, bro. These people don't care, bro. These people do not care. That's what they're giving him. I worked at Dunkin' Donuts. It's soul crushing, physically demanding if it's a busy franchise. And this is exactly what I'm talking about, bro. They don't care. They don't care. I've worked in shitty environments too, bro. I think all of us have. All of us has worked in shitty environments. You know what I'm saying? I'm working in places. I'm like, damn, y'all ain't got no AC in here? That man said AC costs money. I wanted to backhand the shit. What you mean, AC? Duh, pay it. What you mean? And again, that's the thing. It's like everything has to, trust me, bro, they're playing you. You want to know how I'm playing you? Go, unless you're a manager, right? Go to work and ask yourself, or ask them, how much do we make this quarter? They're going to be like, why do you want to know that? I'm like, what do you mean, why do I want to know that? I'm working here. You know what I'm saying? I'm generating money. I want to know how much. They're not going to tell you that. They're very, shh, shh. And again, this is what happens when you start to wake up to the game. They're disrespecting you on all fronts. I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to tell you the story that I have. Right? You guys know in the workplace, they say, hey guys, don't talk about your salaries. You guys ever heard that bullshit? Don't talk about your salaries. Why not? You know why you don't talk about your salaries? Because if people start comparing their salaries, somebody's going to figure out they're getting fucked. That's what they're going to realize. And they're going to be like, wait a minute. I want to get paid more. Another person will be like, wait, you're making how much? Bro, I learned this. I'm going to tell you two stories and then I'm going to get up out of here. The first story is the first time I read what was it called? It was a book by Brian Tracy. It was a professional development book. In that book, I couldn't tell you the book, I'm sorry. But in that book, he was teaching me how to get raises and how to make more money, right? And at that time, I was so impressionable that I'm like, listen, I read it, I'm going to do it. So he said, he said, whenever you go into this and you're asking, he's like, you want to ask these certain questions. A person's going to ask you, like, how much do you want to get paid? You shouldn't respond with a number. You should respond with how much would you pay for a valuable employee? Those are the exact words. How much would you pay for a valuable employee? Right? And so I remember that I was working, this was the Cheesecake Factory, for those who know or don't know. I was going there and the dude was like, he's like, you know, the people that I'm hiring you for, they make about $11.50 an hour. Is that okay? Now, most times in these interviews, they're like, oh yeah, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, let me bend over for you. Yeah, most people are like, yeah, that's fine. But for me, the personal development book taught me, or professional development book taught me, don't accept the first number. Ask him how much you would. And I said, $11.50. I said, is that just based off, or how much would you pay for a professional, a valuable employee? And then I remember it like the back of my hand. He looked at me like, he knows. That's how he looked at me like, And the moment I read that in his face, I was like, I just unlocked something. That book just unlocked something for me. Because usually I'm like, oh, whatever they pay, that's how much they can afford. Because the poor billion-dollar company can't afford to pay me more. So I'll just pay. No. He looked at me. He was like, well, how much are you trying to make? And I swear I just spit out a number. That's another thing it taught me. Not that book, but a negotiation book. They taught me something called anchoring, which is you say a high price. Right? Because the worst that you say a high price and a person might say yes. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, 15. I was talking on my ass, bro. I was at the point where I'm like, I didn't think I was gonna make it this far. I said 15. He was like, I can't do 15. And I'm like, oh, it didn't work. He was like, but I could do 14.50. Bro, I was about to take 11. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm like, yeah, I could do 11. I'm sitting here in my mind like, oh shit, like this worked. You feel me? And I remember, the reason why I told you that story is because I remember we were all in this section, because we were all the same job title. And they're like, bro, this isn't worth $11.50. And they're like, yeah, bro, it's like this $11.50 ain't nothing. And then I wanted to say so bad. I'm like, y'all get paid $11.50? I don't get paid that bullshit. But again, I know what would happen as soon as I said that. They're going to run to the office, and then again, it's probably going to get me in trouble. But again, I'm telling you, this is how they disrespect you. So that's the first story. And this is going to be the last story. The man said, he said you should have asked for 25 facts. So this is the last story I'll tell you. I remember, bro, I was working at, I was doing delivery driving, right, for Amazon. What was it? It's Amazon Flex. Some of you guys know that. Some of you guys don't know that, right? So where I'm at, the Amazon Flex, you drive your car into the warehouse, okay? So you drive your car into the warehouse. You load your car up, yada, with the packages, yada, yada. I'm getting in there. This person who comes up to me, he's like, hey, man, aren't you tired of doing driving your car, putting that wear and tear on your car. And I was like, oh, not really, bro. It just is what it is. He was like, bro, why don't you just come drive for me, right? And again, because at this time I had business sense, right? So I look at a bunch of business models. So I know different business models. And the Amazon trucks that you guys see out there, those are called DSPs, which I believe are called delivery service partners. Essentially, every DSP, somebody owns that, right? It's not connected to Amazon. They're like contractors who contract with Amazon, okay? And so I understood that. He said, oh, bro, why don't you come work for me? And I was like, yo, I was actually interested in DSP. I'm talking about the business side, like owning it, right? And I said, how much do you usually make off those? Because what I've learned when I was in masterminds, bro, when you're with other business owners, most business owners don't care to talk about money. They just talk about how much they make, the revenue, right? Because they're surrounded by other business people. So that, it's nothing crazy. He said proudly with his chest, he was like, bro, you can make $17 an hour. And I'm like, oh no, bro. I was like, you're the DSP, right? And he's like, yeah. I was like, no, how much do you make from the drivers that you have? This is what this man did. Bro, when I think about this shit, it is so disrespectful to me. He said, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna do it for you guys, okay? So listen closely, right? So it's like, he's like, oh bro, you can make $17 an hour. This is the exact tone he was using. $17 an hour, bro. And I was like, oh, he didn't say bro, but you get what I'm saying. $17 an hour. And I'm like, oh no, I'm talking about like DSP on DSP, right? Yeah, on the DSP. I'm like, how much do you make like off the drivers that you employ? He goes, I was like, huh? He's like, and then the Amazon, like the person who worked at the Amazon facility, they're like, hey guys, we gotta go. And he was like, all right, man, I'll see you later. I'm like, you piece of shit. Right? Because again, the reason why that pissed me off, because he said that $17 proud, bro. Little did he know, I know that when you partner with Amazon, they give you enough money to pay $17 an hour for each driver. So if you want to pay $18 an hour, $19 an hour, $20 an hour, you can do that, but you have to take that off of your revenue, right? So he said 17, like that meant something. But he said it with his chest. $17 an hour. I was like, no, bro. Like, you work DSP? Yeah, I work DSP. I'm talking about how much do you make, like, on the business side of things. Oh, I'm like, huh? Oh, hey, guys, we got to wrap it up. All right, bro, I'll see you later. I got in my car. I'm like, you stupid. Pissed me all the way off. All the way off. Now, I will say, I'm going to end it with this. I will say that when I was renting cars to people, because that was a business I used to do, when I was renting cars to people, I rented my car to a person who flew in to go to the orientation for DSP. Because apparently, whenever you're starting the Amazon business, you have to go to like a place, like a select city, and they run you through pretty much what you have to do, yada yada. And so I was able to ask him. Let me just say, them people make bands, a lot of money, bro, to the point where they could pay more than $17 an hour. So if you see something that's like $17, $18, $19 an hour, understand, bro, the giant middle fingers to your face. And the reason why I tell you that is simply because I remember I watched this TikTok where this guy was complaining. He was like, bro, I hate this Amazon job, bro. I'm delivering this Amazon job, and I'm sitting here working my butt off because I'm trying to become a manager. I'm trying to be a person that calls or tells the drivers where they should go, da-da-da-da. And he's like, I do it, and I tried to ask for a promotion. It just didn't happen, da-da-da-da-da. It didn't happen, bro, because there was no management position. There was simply the guy who owns the DSP. But because you don't study business, you don't know the business model. So you don't know that you'll never be a manager. Little did he know, he was fed some bullshit that said, bro, you keep working hard. You keep working hard. You can get there, right? They tell you that, but it's not true. I remember the first time I heard this game, it was like when servers are trying to become bartenders. If you ever worked in a restaurant, bartenders make the most money. They make a shit ton of money. They just do. And so servers, even though servers make a lot of money too, it's not as much as bartenders. And so servers want to become bartenders. And so what this restaurant would do, they would say, hey, if you're a server, the way you get to bartender, you have to be a server, learn the entire menu, then we transition you into bartender. We hire from inside. That's the bullshit they fed them. The bartender quit one day. Did they hire any of the waitresses or any of the servers inside the restaurant? Nope. They pick somebody from outside. And so, and a couple servers quit because they're like, wait a minute. They realized they were chasing a carrot on a stick. This is how this game is, bro. And again, it's a game to these people. They don't care. They don't care. But that's when I read that professional development book. It unlocked things in me, bro. It unlocked eyes within me. It taught me how to negotiate. It taught me how that if you go into a place, you should be asking for a raise every 3 months or every 6 months, right? A lot of people think 3 is pushing it, but you should be asked every 6 months. And he taught you how to do it. You don't go in there and be like, oh, I want a raise. You go in there and say, I want some more responsibility. What are some other things that I can do? You say those magic words. I've done this 3 times. You say those magic words, the boss gonna get happy. Oh, you could do this, you could do this, you could do this. And then you say, once he gives you those things, you say, that's amazing. Now, how much would I get paid for increasing the responsibility while also increasing my value? How much would I get paid for that? And if your manager's not a dumbass, which a lot of them pretend to be, then they're going to be like, that's when negotiations start. But again, if you can't go to your job tomorrow and say, what does it take to become a manager? Or what does it take to become the next level? And they can't lay out a pathway for you, it's a dead-end job. It's a dead-end job. Why am I working here if it's not to progress? Why am I working here if I can't make no money? Why am I working here if I can't start my career? You understand what I'm saying? This is the things that I'm talking. And again, this is where they start feeding you a bunch of BS. And now you have to say, oh, okay, now I understand the importance of checking in with my manager. Hey, I've been here for 6 months. Do you think I'm doing well? Yeah, man, I think you're doing great. Awesome. I would like to increase my pay. Awesome. I would love more responsibility. Is there anything else I can do? And then when they, oh yeah, you could do this, because everybody knows, bro, if you're a hard worker, they going to put more work on you. And the moment they fall for that bait, bro, you say, okay, yeah, how much would I get compensated for that extra? Boom. Now you're on it. Because guess what's happening? You're speaking business. This is business now. Now, again, I hate when companies do this. They're like, we're a family. We're a family. No, the fuck we're not. We're not a family. We're not a family. Because the moment I start bringing up some money, you ghost. You're like, ooh, can't talk about that. No, bro, that's not a family. This is real life. This is business. This is real. This is why I say, bro, it's like, you have to have a reason why you're doing these things. Because the reason I'm not afraid asking for a raise is because I need to make more money. The reason why I need to make more money is because I'm trying to fund something. Stock account, real estate, kids' tuition, whatever. I'm trying to fund something. So there's a reason for it. I'm not just doing it for shits and giggles. You feel what I'm saying? And this is where the seriousness of life starts to come in. Because when you start entering that mode, you're going to realize that a lot of people understand that world, but try to keep you away from it. And then when you enter it, you're going to find out very quickly if you're in the wrong place or if you're in a right place and you just unlocked a new layer that you had no idea about. Okay. Let me catch up on these things. No AC, they make you do the beverages and the food, the cleaning, the inventory, stocking, the cashier, drive-through, and sometimes understaffed and customers are mad. Exactly, bro. That's what I'm saying. It's like if you start off in one thing, you start off doing the fries, you don't flip burgers, bro, until you get a pay raise. You don't work cashier until you get a pay raise. You don't start doing sanitary until you get a pay. You know why? Because that's more responsibility. And more responsibility means you're more valuable. More valuable means that you make more money. Let me make this make sense for you. 2 people walk into a McDonald's, okay? One person only knows how to do fries, okay? The other person knows how to do cashier, knows how to do burgers, knows how to do fries, knows how to do all the other, even manager work. You understand? So if the guy who only does fries, he says, I want $10 an hour. Versus the guy who could do all that stuff, he says, I want $12 an hour. Who are you going to hire? Most times you're going to hire the $12. Why? Because he's more versatile. So if somebody calls out, boom, I got my versatile guy, he could come in. And so people, that's what I'm saying, businesses pay for value. They pay for value. This is why people, and I used to hate when motivational speakers say this. They say, bro, you just have to figure out how can you be more valuable. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? You have to bring value to the market. What does that mean? Right? This is what they mean. You have to give people what they're asking for or what they want. And there's nothing more that a business loves than a super employee. But I'm going to need a super check for that. What's DSP? I believe it's delivery service partner. Don't quote me on that. But if you just type in Amazon DSP, it'll pop up. Or just type in how to become Amazon DSP. You can start to get the thing. You can see how much money they make off those things too. Okay. Bartenders depends on the nightclub and bar. Bro, bartenders make bank. Every restaurant that I've worked in, the bartenders were making the most money every single time. It was so good that the bartenders, because again, the waitresses, not only were the bartenders making money off tips, but the bartenders, because they help all the servers, they called it a tip out. You had to tip your bartender. You understand what I'm saying? Because they helped you get your tips. And then the servers will have to tip the bus boys too, because they help them clear their tables. You understand what I'm saying? And so, but the bartenders didn't have to pay shit. They didn't have to pay nothing. They get salary plus the freaking tips, and they get crazy tips because drinks are crazy expensive. All right, so let me see. Okay, this is the last thing that I have on my notes here, and then I gotta go. All right, because I've been on here for an hour and a half. The last point that I have for you guys is drop the fairy tale that has been sold to you and build your own heaven based off of reality. There are a lot of guys that are trying to make a fairy tale a reality. That's why a lot of red pill guys are pissed off, because you realize that women are human too. And they have a lot of things that they want out of their man. And it's not just like, oh, I'm such a little girl, save me, save me. Even though a lot of them use that to manipulate you in the past, right? Me too. I'm not going to pretend like I'm above that. Me too. But then you realize like, oh, wait a minute, these girls are human. They are adults, grown people. They can do it too. And again, your fantasy can't be fulfilled because you're in charge of your fantasy. But the moment you include another human being, the variables have to go crazy. You understand? Because again, humans are unpredictable. As much as we are predictable, we're unpredictable. So when I say build your own heaven based off of reality, bro, I don't want to talk about my heaven, but I'll make up one. If I wanted to become a chef, my own heaven would be I want to either open a restaurant or go to France and go to a baking school, or Italy and a cooking school. You will never find me in Italy, but you get what I'm saying. Go to China and do the cooking classes there and get certified and work at 5-star Michelin. That's my heaven, right? But you have to be very careful when you say work with find me a chef girlfriend who's the perfect girlfriend, right? You have to be careful with that, because again, that relies on another person to complete your heaven, and that's not fair, because their job is not to make you happy or complete your heaven. You understand what I'm saying? And so when you build your own heaven, you want to make sure that it's based off of the things that you love and enjoy. Most guys are simple. We're very simple. We want an old car to fix up, maybe. You want to woodwork. You want to fish. You know what I'm saying? You want a log cabin. Bro, you want a flannel, you know what I'm saying? You want a whiskey collection. You want a cigar collection, right? Whatever. But we're very simple. We want a nice gaming setup, right? We're very simple, okay? And so that's great for you, because the heaven that you want to build at its lowest level will probably cost you like $12K. Listen, a lot of people can't just drop $12K. But can you save $12K over the span of 2 years? Of course you can. If you tried, if it was on your goals, if you had a support, you know what I'm saying? This is what I'm talking about. And so again, shameless plug here. Listen, email me if you need help with this process, or email me if you want that energy to be accountable or disciplined, okay? Hit me up. We'll talk. I want to see what your goals are. Then, of course, we'll talk about the price at the end. I have to start making a compilation of all the clients that I've helped. But my recent one, shout out Thick Boy. I know you probably in here listening to the background. If you are, say what's up. He's a person. He got my services in October. He wanted to lose weight. He was tired of being a child mentally, and I believe he started off at 220, 230, and then he sent me a picture in December of him crossing 197. I believe he's 203 right now, but again, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, that's a lot of weight. And again, he was always capable of this. It was simply he needed that help to say, listen, bro, let's lay this out, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm checking on you like, hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? So whatever it is in your life, if you feel like you just need a little bit of help, email me, we'll get you right. Let me see what y'all are saying, and then we'll get up out of here. GDP, we're just the cattle to feed the elites. Exactly, bro. That's why I'm saying, it's like, I'm not being, bro, if I'm going to be a sheep, bro, I'm shaving my own fur, making my own bed, and I'm laying on that myself. I'm not shaving this for y'all. It's for me. It's mine. You understand? And a lot of people don't believe that. They don't have the power. They don't think they have that power within them. And you do, bro. I promise you do. This world is run by the devil. That's why it's so hard to see the heavenly gates at the end of the light. The righteous path is narrow and the devil's path. And you have to be very careful. Again, you have to be very careful, all right? Because that's what I said at the beginning. This is the story that you're telling yourself. If you're saying that the world is ran by the devil, the only thing that you're going to pick up on in your worldview is things that reinforce the story that you're telling yourself. Now, this can be somewhat true, but again, why would you focus your time, attention, and energy on that story? You feel what I'm saying? It's not about being delusional, but it's about recognizing that there, in every bad moment, there are good things within it. You understand what I'm saying? And so I want to make sure that I'm focusing on the good things. And this isn't to say like, oh, I just ignore the bad things, da 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 da. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is when you focus on those good things, you end up in good places. You feel me? So again, I know right now, you guys, we have the comfort of sitting in our house. I'm in a different country. You guys are doing whatever it is that you're doing. And again, we know the truth that there is somebody across the world who is in a absolutely horrible world, like psychologically damaging situation. We understand that. We know that. But I'm not focusing on that. Why would I focus on that? It just is what it is. And again, let me tell you something that a lot of people are not going to say publicly. It's every man for himself out here. Now, again, we want to build community and da-da-da. We know how to work together at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, bro, and how a lot of people move, it's every man for himself. It's every man for himself. And you have to start playing like that is. All right? Also, bro, I got scammed by some Muslim for over $3,400 last week. I'm still licking my wound. Usually when you get scammed, it's because you wanted a result faster than what was required. 9 times out of 10, if you were willing to go the long route, you would have never got scammed. I've gotten scammed before too, and I realized it was simply because I was trying to take the fast route. Just had to get that off my chest. I set my back a few months financially. Nothing is free in life. There's always a catch. Don't be a mark. There's no one. And again, you have to be careful. This is the story that you're telling yourself. I've had plenty of things that happened to me and there was no catch. It was just great. It's just how my luck was, right? All right, guys, listen. If you enjoyed this live stream, hit the thumbs up. Drop your boy a Cash App, right? If you're feeling the message, if I'm spitting tonight, drop me a super chat if you're rocking with your boy. I really appreciate that. But I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. I got other things to do, other people to see. All right, but seriously, I really enjoyed this tonight. Drop a thumbs up.